All right, while I was sitting here filming other stuff, thought I'd make this quick video. No edits, one take. Uh, Halloween movies, worst to best. Michael Myers is a big fan of this franchise. Was a big fan of this franchise. Had like all the DVDs, and I even hunted down producer's cut Halloween 6. Paul Rudd paid $30 for this sucker. Uh, But the last few years, not so much. I don't even have my DVDs anymore. I started selling off DVDs on eBay a while ago to clear out some space. But, all right, let's get into my inspiration for making this worst to best list. At number 13, because there were 13 movies, Halloween Ends, the new one. I didn't even bother watching the trailer. I walked into this movie like cold, and it was on Peacock. Boom, perfect. I don't have to go to the theater for it, and it sucked. It was. Thank God I didn't watch a trailer, because I went back and watched a trailer after, and was like, all right, that's. You're not. Michael Myers is barely in the movie. Big spoiler, whatever. This is like a movie that they would have made in like a bad sequel of like the 90s. It reminded me of Jason Goes to Hell, where he's like not even in it, and this is movie's focused on some new character, Corey, and all that. No, it was not good. I'm sorry. This new reboot of it started out good, and we'll get to that later. But speaking of this current reboot trilogy of movies, number 12, Halloween Kills. Halloween Ends was so bad, it made this one go back and seem watchable. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, this is the worst one by a mile, and they can't go any lower than apparently they did with the newer one. But the one thing keeping this out of the actually, it's a far better movie than the other one, because this one at least came off as like a standard Halloween Michael Myers movies. The ending was cool, where he just gets up and starts wasting everybody, and you want to see that. And the dumb line where like evil ends tonight, or whatever the hell they kept saying the whole damn movie. That, as lame as that was, it was kind of funny. So number 11. I used to really hate this movie too. I think I've only seen it. I know I saw it once in the theater, maybe one other time on TV since then. And this is what kind of killed my liking of the franchise anyway, was the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Which is weird, because it's kind of like a different take on one of my ones I liked a lot better. It was kind of like a different take on Halloween 5, where I forget the characters. It was Laurie. The girl, the new version of her was Laurie, and she's got like a psychic connection to Michael Myers in there, which is kind of like the psychic connection between Michael and his niece in the other Halloween 5. And yeah, it was stupid, but I remember like it being like dark and moody, and like at least that was its saving grace. It wasn't a good movie though. It's like I saw it and forgot about it, and this is the most I've ever thought about it since then. Number 10. The original Halloween 2. I know that's probably a lot higher on other people's lists, but when I first started watching the movies, I went back and saw the ones I missed. And it was Halloween 2, and I was like, well, that one's got to be good, because that's the second one. That's where they find out that Michael's her brother. And I also watched the making of like the Halloween franchise, and John Carpenter's like halfway through, I didn't know what to do, so I said, all right, they're related. And it really comes across in the movie that it's like a half-ass, lazily written script, because he's wandering around a hospital, apparently has like 3 people working in it, beyond me. But this is like the beginning of the trend of the Halloween movies. They'd have a really good one, like part one, and then follow it up with a half-assed uh, second movie. And sometimes I like those half-assed second movies. This is not one of those cases. The Rob Zombie, like the previous one, like the Rob Zombie Part 1, Part 2. The Rob Zombie first one, it was okay, followed by something completely ridiculous. So that's where we're at with that. It's like, it's an old one, you figure it's a classic, it's not that good. And I didn't like it. Number 9, H2O. The Dawson's Creek one. The one made by the guy who made like Dawson's Creek and all the other CW stuff, and I forgot what else. I think he did the movie Scream too. When I first saw it then, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But while rewatching it now, it's on like every year, 20 times a year during Halloween. I just can't get into this one. Kind of lame. Number 8, the first Rob Zombie one. Basically, the second half of the movie is just a complete remake of the first Halloween movie. Seemed kind of pointless. The first half, where they're showing him as a little kid who kills animals. Whatever. They did bring back Danielle Harris for this movie. That was cool, bringing her back. Fan favorite. Because she was the kid in the 4 and 5. Is it good? It was watchable. It was very watchable. It wasn't a great Halloween. There's like 2 versions of it. I remember the week it came out, also online, there was like a director's cut with alternate kills and stuff like that. I remember that one being better, that version. I don't have either of them on DVD anymore. Number 7. This for a long time, this was one of my favorite ones. It was one of the bad ones. This was also like another follow-up, because H2O is considered the quality one. So Halloween Resurrection was like a bad follow-up. But I like this bad follow-up, because arguably this movie's silly. It's got, what was the rapper's guy's name in there? I forgot the rapper guy's name. Busta Rhymes, he's in it. Is it not Busta Rhymes? Is it Busta? I don't remember. Trick or treat, motherfucker. That guy. I thought it was funny and silly, and I thought the mask looked really good. This one and Halloween H2O, thought the mask looked really cool and creepy. But it was a really stupid movie, but I liked it. If you're gonna go offbeat and silly, like I like this silliness other than Halloween Ends. So where are we at? That was number 7. Number 6 is Halloween 5. Halloween 4 was good. Higher quality movie. 5, not so much, but it's a good bad one. For some reason they kill off the stepsister, foster sister, whatever you would call her, Jamie Lloyd, and then they replace that character with a character's boss, basically a sister figure for her, for no reason. Who we never even met in part 4, so why did they do that? I don't know. And it's just more killing shenanigans. It's just a solid, regular Halloween movie. But even the mask was like one of the worst masks in the whole franchise. Because that's another thing that makes it good or bad, what the mask looks like. The house was completely wrong and different. Somehow all the wrongs in this movie you kind of overlook because it was still a decent movie. And it gives you a mystery at the end, and then they follow up on that mystery with the Thorn Cult. So that was number 6. Number 5, I got the 2018 Halloween. See, they go back, they reboot the franchise again. This time they forgot about part 2. The original part 2, they just made it a sequel to part 1. Again. Like the Godzilla movies, they always, in like the early 2000s, it would be always a new Godzilla movie, and they would just forget every other Godzilla movie ever made, and it would be a sequel to the first 1954 Godzilla. That's what they were doing. But they would make like series of them instead. But this time they actually took it serious again, made a decent movie, and that's what I have to say about that. Too bad they didn't follow up. This movie made like probably the biggest box office out of any of them. And you figure, oh, I got a good franchise. Let's not screw this up. We can make that much or even more the next time. No, Halloween Kills was absolutely stupid. Uh, Pandemic probably ruined what they had in mind for Halloween Ends, but after Halloween Kills, did you really think they had any faith that they would do better? No, they didn't. So where are we at with number 4? Season of the Witch. Everybody likes this one. It gets better with age, this one. It's so weird and creepy, and the Silver Shamrock, and then the kids watching like the test commercial, and snakes and bugs come out of his mask, and he's melting on the floor. That was awesome. Of all the Halloween movies to go back reboot, go back to this, make this canon, tie it in somehow. Michael Myers is one of those Silver Shamrock kids. He watched the commercial. Do it. That's what we want next. Number 3. Halloween 6. I think this is the first one I saw in the theater. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this in the theater. I remember getting up to go to the bathroom. The music came on. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do in the theater, and the theater was full. If I do remember, it came out in August or something like that. But that was the theatrical cut. And then for years, they had the bootleg cut, the producer's cut, alternate footage, and more of the Thorn Cult. And I was so intrigued by just reading about all the cut stuff that I had to get this. And finally, somebody made a bootleg where they cut the VHS bad quality one along with the good DVD version of the regular cut of Halloween 6, and I got this. And then they finally did release it, and I never actually bought the real copy. I can download it now, but it was always more satisfying to have, a pirated DVD. It's always more fun. Feels like it's got more street cred. So where are we at? So it was number 2. Number 2 is I'm going with the original. Of course, because it's where it all started. But it was good. It's great. With stuff missing in it. We never knew why he was a killer. I always liked the fact that they were brother and sister. And you always, going back and you're watching it now, you say, oh, he's going to kill her because that's his sister. But that was not present in there, and that's what they kind of went back and rectified with the 2018 version. But watching it now, I can never get over the fact that they were brother and sister. You can't, erase that from my mind. So you're putting more into it than was originally there in the movie. And I'm constantly because he's possessed by the Thorn Cult, stuff like that. But one movie I thought was better than all of that was the reason why the whole franchise just kept going and going and going. Because I got a number 1. I got Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I think it might not have the artistry of Halloween 1, John Carpenter stuff, but I think it was a better, more entertaining movie. The mask wasn't as good, but it's not the original mask because his got burnt up in part 2, so he had to go get another one from the hardware store. I just this is the reason. All right, because then 4 came out, and we got to follow it with 5, and then I think there's lawsuits or something like that, and there were rights and all this other junk, and then you got 6. The franchise just never really went away after part 4. It was kind of dead in the water after 3. So then you got 4. Then they went back to 5. There's a little bit of a gap to get to part 6, but then every 2-3 years later, then we're always getting another Halloween franchise. It's because of this one, and it's the one everybody watched in the 80s. It was the big comeback. This is the one that we wanted, and the one I get excited every time it's on. The hell channel is that? I think American Movie Classics. Every year they have just the Halloween marathons. It's on almost every other day for the entire month of October. I love this movie. And I remember seeing it late night on HBO back in the day, and it's why I'm a fan of the franchise, is because of this one, not because of the original one. Because if it wasn't for this movie, the original one was just some good movie in the 70s, and it had one sequel and then another sequel that meant nothing. Without this, the Halloween franchise is what is really based on, in my opinion. So, thank you for watching. I kind of rambled on a little bit too long. Probably upload my other regular toy video stuff tomorrow. So, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that crap.